The husky is clearly full from drinking, yet it still occupies the only water source. Other dogs also want a drink, but it scolds them loudly. The dogs dare not speak up in anger, because it is the leader of the pack. But at this moment, a new member, Buck, stood up. He crossed the husky and arrived on a frozen surface. With his large body, he successfully smashed a hole in the ice. Now the other dogs could finally drink water. But this greatly displeased the husky. At night, the owner gave each dog a fish. When Buck was about to enjoy his fish, he discovered something. The husky took his own fish and grabbed Yellow's. Buck wanted to help, but he was powerless. However, in a short while, he placed his own fish in front of Yellow. As they watched him leave, all the dogs wore expressions of disbelief. And this deepened the animosity between him and the husky. On the second day, the mistress ventured onto the frozen surface, but the ice suddenly broke under her feet. She fell into an ice cave. At this moment, Buck realized the danger and quickly chased after her. He then jumped in. When the mistress was about to give out, Buck arrived just in time. With his sharp intuition, he successfully broke the ice and brought the mistress out. Then Pero arrived and pulled her up, but before he could save Buck, Buck was pushed away by the rushing water. Pero shouted loudly and arrived at a frozen surface, trying to break a hole with his dagger. But the dagger broke with no response from the ice. At this point, Pero could only cry out helplessly. Just when they didn't know what to do, a stick appeared before Pero's eyes. Without thinking, he tried to use the stick to break the ice, but then he suddenly realized something. He turned his head and saw that Buck had successfully reached the shore. Pero was overjoyed and immediately embraced Buck, but this scene was seen by the husky. He felt that it was time to do something. That night, Buck was walking, and he discovered a rabbit. He chased after it, but couldn't bring himself to catch it, so he let the rabbit go. But the rabbit had not gone far when it was bitten to death by the husky. The husky stared fiercely at Buck, obviously declaring war on him. Buck had no choice but to confront him, but facing the battle-hardened husky, Buck quickly lost the fight. As he watched Buck collapse, the husky felt triumphant. Before leaving, he couldn't help but mock the dogs watching below. No other dog dared to roar at him, but at this moment, one dog couldn't stand it anymore. He gathered his courage and shouted a few times. Both the husky and the other dogs were surprised for a moment, but once they saw that Buck didn't stand up, the husky decided to go teach him a lesson. Perhaps hearing the shouting, Buck really woke up. At this point, a fierce black wolf appeared before his eyes. The wildness inside him was awakened instantly. Buck stood up again, his momentum changing completely. At this point, the husky became a bit hesitant, but seeing the dogs behind him support Buck, he could only face the battle again, but this time, the outcome was like this. The husky was completely defeated. He knew that there was no place for him here anymore. He could only leave in disgrace. But as the dogs watched the husky leave, they also felt a hint of reluctance. After all, they were once comrades fighting side by side. But in the end, the image of the husky disappeared into the snow. On the second day, Buck came to the front, wanting to be the lead dog of the sled team, but Pero felt he lacked experience and asked him to return to his original position. Seeing Buck's unhappiness, Pero had to drag him back forcefully, but seeing Buck's unhappy expression, no other dog was willing to be the lead dog, because in their hearts, Buck had long become their leader. Pero had no choice but to let Buck lead the team again. Under the watchful eyes of the team, Buck seemed to fulfill a certain mission. His eyes only showed determination. After the command was given, the team successfully started. But at this moment, danger descended upon them. Would they be able to avoid it successfully?